Right, I'm making this video as a little bit of a rant, and I also want to give constructive criticism on something that happened to me today. I was invited by my parents to go to Ripon Cathedral for choral Evensong, and we discovered when we turned up it was Evensong and blessing of the Leeds Nepalese community flag. Now the thing about Ripon is that although Ripon is the cathedral city, the diocese covers Leeds as well. So that would explain why such a thing was going on in Ripon. I don't have a problem with people of other faiths worshipping, because I believe in the God-given right of free will to decide what you want to believe in, who you want to believe in, and what you want to worship. I don't have a problem particularly with interfaith dialogue. I don't have a problem with people from other faiths coming as dignitaries along to services. I don't even have a problem with bits from other faiths being used in the cathedral if it's for secular purposes. For example, the Adhan, which is the Islamic call for prayer, was done in Ripon Cathedral during the playing of Carl Jenkins' Peace Mass. I do have a problem with with praying to foreign deities within any Christian worship. I think what upset me first was the fact that they decided that they would do a procession, and because it included members of Hindu and Buddhist faith, obviously they would not walk behind the cross. Rather than doing the sensible thing and letting them walk in first and then processing in with the cross, they decided not to bother processing in or out with the cross at all. The cross was put behind the altar before the service started. That upsets me, because that is more than being welcoming. That is taking something away from what is an intrinsically Christian service in order to appease members of another faith, which inside a Christian service, inside a church, is not on. It's just wrong, and particularly when there are ways around it, like I just said. The thing that really upset me about this was the actual blessings itself. We had the normal service of choral Evensong with the normal liturgy, and then we had then we went on to have the actual flag dedication. Now, here's my constructive criticism. I doubt very much that the Buddhist and Hindus demanded to have their prayers in the Christian service. I suspect they were offered the ability to do that. If they had have demanded, I would have said, you know, have the dedication at the end of the service, take a procession outside of the building and do the whole dedication outside of the building. What I don't think you should ever do is allow foreign worship into the Christian setting. They started with a Buddhist blessing, which, despite saying being read by Guru Chawang Gurung, was not said at all. It was sung, it was a chant. We do have a copy of the English translation, which begins, "I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha until I attain enlightenment." Nothing of that is Christian at all. It's not right to have an interfaith service like that in a cathedral. That's just not right. To be praying to Buddha in a Christian Evensong, it's wrong. They went on after that to have a Hindu blessing as well, again sung sort of like a chant, which read at one point, yes, we pray to the three-eyed Lord Shiva, and I think Krishna was mentioned at one point as well, somewhere along the line. It went on for about 10 minutes, this sort of singing and chanting, and it was just wrong. You just can't do that. You can't have foreign worship within a Christian. I mean, that's worship. That's actually praying to foreign gods, and it's wrong. I understand that they probably wanted one place in which they could dedicate it, which is why I would say, fair enough, do it outside of the cathedral, in the cathedral grounds, a meeting place for sort of all faiths, but inside the cathedral, following those two blessings, you had the bishop say, we are met together in the presence and house of God. And I couldn't help thinking that what the Diocese of Ripon and Leeds had done was make God another chocolate within a box of chocolates. It's just yet another blessing, and within a Christian context. Anyway, the Bishop of Ripon and Leeds, the Right Reverend John Packer, did a sermon in which he quoted a Pauline text, which was from the New Testament, where Paul is in Athens, and he notices that there is an altar to an unknown God, and he uses that as a place to evangelise loads of people who are praying to all sorts of different deities. But the idea is that he evangelises them. It's not that he says that their forms of worship, collective, are okay. He doesn't say that at all. And I think that the bishop kept using part of the phrase here about, where are we? Oh yes, here we are. From one ancestor he made all nations to inhabit the earth. Yes, he did. But you can't use that as an excuse to allow prayers to other deities within a Christian service in a major cathedral. And Paul would not approve of that. Paul's whole idea of saying this was to convince them that Christianity was the way, the truth and the life. It wasn't so that they could all bless the same altar in their own language, chanting incantations. I went with a group of, my family, and all of us came to the conclusion that it was not right. It didn't feel right. It felt horrible. I understand that they were trying to focus on community, and I have nothing wrong. I have nothing against, like I say, interfaith dialogue. I have nothing against people from foreign faiths being part. What I do have a problem with is using their worship texts as if they are part of our own when they're not. And I've calmed down now, but I was really angry and really very upset about it. I just can't believe, and I actually hold the Bishop of Ripon and Leeds responsible, because he's the person who will, by his own sermon, obviously didn't have a problem with it, I did, and the people who were with me did, and it ruined our I won't say it ruined our evening, but it ruined that bit. I went there for choral Evensong, and I did not expect to be listening to Buddhist incantations and chanting and worshipping foreign gods within the church, within a part of the service, and thinking that was okay. Because it's not, and as far as I'm concerned, that is the sort of thing that is why the church in this country and why Christianity in this country is in the decline. It's because we've mistaken welcoming other people to bending over backwards to compensate for them, to make them feel at home, when we're not actually of the same faith, and we shouldn't be condoning their religious rights. The whole idea of being Christian is exclusive. There's nothing wrong with welcoming. There's nothing wrong with being a witness. And yes, God came for harmony, but unity under Himself, not unity in terms of everything goes. And we were really quite upset. I think so. I just had to say something about this, because it was horrible.